The Innocent Discovery. The Last Witness. My name is Kelleth Moore, and I was the senior archivist of the Galactic Tribunal for 347 years. I say was because there is no tribunal anymore. There is no council. There are no grand fleets or mighty armadas. There is only Earth and the scattered remnants of what we once called civilization. You want to know what happened? You want to understand how the greatest galactic empire in recorded history fell in less than 72 hours? Pull up a chair, friend. Pour yourself something strong. You're going to need it. The humans among us humans joined our galactic community 40 years ago. They were unremarkable at first glance. No natural armor like the Korvaxi, no psychic abilities like the Zinthari, no incredible longevity like my own people, the Vorthak. They were soft pink creatures with strange patches of fur on their heads and those unsettling eyes that seemed to look right through you. The tribunal accepted them because they had achieved faster-than-light travel independently, which qualified them under our membership protocols. They'll make decent administrators, High Chancellor Vrex had said during the admission debates. Perhaps useful as data analysts. Nothing more. How spectacularly wrong we were. Humans were different from other species in ways we didn't immediately understand. While most races specialized in one or two areas of expertise, humans dabbled in everything. They weren't the strongest fighters, but they fought with creativity. They weren't the most advanced scientists, but they asked questions nobody else thought to ask. They weren't the most skilled diplomats, but they had this annoying habit of making friends with everyone. Do they ever stop talking? Counselor Thack had complained during one particularly long human presentation on interspecies cultural exchange. It's like they think silence is a disease. I remember laughing at that observation, laughing as if human chatter was the most dangerous thing they could do to us. If only we had known. The girl who asked too many questions, Maya Chen, was 17 Earth years old when she destroyed our world. She lived with her family on New Harmony, a human research station in the Outer Rim. By all accounts, she was a typical human teenager, curious, energetic, and absolutely fearless when it came to poking her nose into places it didn't belong. What made Maya significant was her school project. She had been assigned to analyze quantum signature patterns in deep space communications, a mundane task that thousands of students across the galaxy completed every year. But Maya noticed something others had missed. Archivist Moore, she had messaged me directly. I found something weird in my research. There are quantum signatures appearing in dead space sectors that match patterns from active military installations. But the timestamps don't make sense. Some of these signatures are appearing in areas where no one is supposed to be, and they're using council encryption protocols. Can you help me understand what I'm looking at? I should have deleted that message. I should have warned her to drop her investigation immediately. Instead, I did what protocol demanded. I forwarded her inquiry to the security division. The council's dark secret. What Maya had discovered was Project Deep Cache, the tribunal's most classified operation. For over 2,000 years, we had been secretly placing weapons platforms in neutral space, hidden bases that could strike at any world that dared to oppose us. These installations were our insurance policy, our guarantee that no single species or alliance could ever threaten council authority. The existence of Deep Cache was known only to the highest levels of government. Its discovery by a human teenager represented a catastrophic security breach. The girl knows too much, Security Chief Vaxon reported to the High Council. Her analysis is surprisingly thorough. If humans discover our weapon platforms, they could use that information to calculate our true military capabilities. They might even attempt to negotiate from a position of strength. Chancellor Vrex considered this for several moments. How much does she know? Everything that matters. She's identified 17 cache locations and is beginning to map the communication network that connects them. At her current rate of discovery, she'll have the complete layout within a week. Then we eliminate the problem, Vrex decided. Make it look like an accident. Humans are notorious for their unsafe research practices. A lab explosion should surprise no one. The murder of Maya Chen. The operation was supposed to be clean and simple. Security forces would infiltrate New Harmony during a routine supply transfer, sabotage the research lab where Maya worked, and create an accidental explosion that would destroy her research and eliminate the security threat. But something went catastrophically wrong. Maya wasn't alone when they arrived. She was working late with her study group, 3 other human teenagers who were helping her organize her data. The security team, led by Commander Zalth, found themselves facing not 1 witness but 4. Change of plans. Zalth had radioed back to headquarters. Multiple targets, proceeding with Containment Protocol 7. Containment Protocol 7 meant no survivors. The humans had installed security cameras throughout their station, a paranoid habit we had noted but dismissed as harmless. Those cameras captured everything. Council forces entering the lab, the children's confusion as armed aliens surrounded them, Maya's desperate questions about what was happening, and finally, the moment when Commander Zalth lost patience and simply executed all 4 teenagers. The explosion that followed was real enough. It destroyed the lab and damaged several adjacent sections of the station, but it failed to destroy the security footage, which was automatically backed up to 17 different locations across human space. Within hours, the footage was everywhere, on every human communication network, broadcast to every human colony, even transmitted directly to Earth's parliament. The images of 4 terrified children backing away from council forces, asking, "What did we do wrong?" before being shot down, in cold blood. Earth's first response. The human ambassador to the tribunal was a woman named Dr. Sarah Knox, a former military officer who had transitioned to diplomacy. She was known for her calm demeanor and her ability to find common ground even in the most contentious negotiations. The person who walked into the council chamber 3 days after the murders was not the same woman. "You killed children," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. Not soldiers, not spies, not threats, children working on a school project. "Ambassador Knox," Chancellor Vrex began, "there has been an unfortunate incident, but I assure you that a full investigation—" "Shut up." The human's interruption sent ripples of shock through the assembly. In 3,000 years of tribunal history, no ambassador had ever cut off the chancellor. Knox placed a small device on the speaker's podium. It projected a hologram of another human, this one wearing a military uniform I didn't recognize. "I am Admiral Marcus Webb of the Earth Defense Consortium," the hologram announced. 72 hours ago, your forces murdered 4 citizens of Earth without provocation or declaration of hostilities. We consider this an act of war. Chancellor Vrex actually laughed. "War? Earth against the combined might of the Galactic Tribunal? Ambassador, please convey to your leadership that while this incident is regrettable, empty threats serve no purpose." The hologram continued as if Vrex hadn't spoken. "However, we are prepared to accept an unconditional surrender if delivered within the next 24 hours. All individuals involved in the murders must be remanded to Earth for trial. Additionally, the tribunal must acknowledge its crimes publicly and submit to oversight by an independent body." The chamber erupted in outrage. Surrender to humans? The idea was absurd. They had gone mad with grief. Knox waited for the noise to subside. "Those are our terms, 24 hours. And if we refuse this generous offer?" Vrex asked, his mandibles clicking with amusement. "Then we do this the hard way," Knox replied. "And trust me, you really don't want that." The council's fatal mistake after. Knox left. The tribunal spent exactly 20 minutes debating their response before unanimously agreeing to ignore the human ultimatum. The Galactic Tribunal, with its thousands of worlds and millions of ships, would not be dictated to by humans. "Perhaps we should eliminate their colonies as a preemptive measure," Councillor Jeth suggested. "Show them the consequences of threatening the tribunal." "Unnecessary," Vrex replied. "When their deadline passes tomorrow and nothing happens, they'll realize their position and come begging for reasonable terms. Humans are emotional, not stupid." I remember feeling uneasy. In my decades of observing humans, I had noticed they rarely made threats they couldn't back up. But what could they possibly do against the might of the tribunal? 24 hours. Later we found out. The reckoning when the galaxy went dark, The first sign that something was wrong came when our long-range communication network went silent. All of it, simultaneously. Thousands of relay stations across hundreds of systems offline in an instant. Technical malfunction, the engineers assured us. Impossible for this to be an attack. The network is too distributed, too redundant. Then, our defense grid went dark. Every automated defense system from orbital platforms to planetary shields simply stopped functioning. "This is impossible," Security Chief Vaxon kept repeating. "There's no way to hack the entire network at once. The systems aren't even connected to each other." But they were connected in ways we hadn't understood. Later analysis revealed that humans had been quietly installing quantum coupling devices throughout our infrastructure for years. Tiny modules that improved system efficiency by fractions of a percent, so minor that our security scans had dismissed them as inconsequential maintenance upgrades. Together, these devices created a backdoor into every major system the tribunal controlled. As the Council was beginning to grasp the scale of our vulnerability, the first human ships appeared. Not the modest fleet we knew about, but thousands of vessels that had never appeared on any registry, never docked at any known port. "Where did they come from?" Vrex demanded. "How could they hide an armada of this size?" The answer was simple and terrifying. They had built them in secret, in hollowed-out asteroids and hidden shipyards, cloaked by technology we didn't know existed. While presenting themselves as peaceful newcomers with limited military capacity, they had been preparing for war from the moment they joined our community. Not because they expected to need it, but because, in Admiral Knox's later words, "Humans don't trust easily, and we trust powerful aliens even less." The demonstration the human fleet didn't attack immediately. Instead, a message broadcast on all frequencies in all languages. "This is Admiral Webb of the Earth Defense Consortium. Your time to surrender has expired. We have disabled your communications and defense systems. We now control your infrastructure. We can shut down life support on any tribunal facility, disable gravity on any tribunal world, or target any individual council member anywhere in the galaxy." A brief pause then. "To demonstrate this capability, we will now execute the individuals directly responsible for murdering Maya Chen, David Park, Lisa Wong, and James Rivera." On the council station in the middle of our emergency session, Commander Zalth suddenly clutched his chest and collapsed. His neural implant, which connected him to the station's systems, had been turned against him. Security Chief Vaxon followed moments later, then 3 more officers who had been on the New Harmony mission, all dead, instantly, assassinated from thousands of light years away by the humans' control of our own systems. "The rest of you, Admiral," Webb continued, "have one final opportunity. Surrender now or face complete extinction." Chancellor Vrex, to his credit, maintained his composure. "We cannot surrender to barbarians who would murder officials from across the galaxy," he announced. "The tribunal has never bowed to terrorists and never will. Launch all available ships. Target Earth directly. Let them see what real war looks like." It was the last order he ever gave. 72 hours of reckoning. The human fleet moved with a precision I had never witnessed before. They didn't target our military installations first, as conventional doctrine would suggest. Instead, they struck at the very heart of tribunal power. Council Central, the massive space station that had served as our seat of government for 3 millennia, was their first target. I survived only because I was in the deep archives when the attack began, several levels below the main complex. Even so, the blast threw me against a wall hard enough to crack 2 of my ribs. When I regained consciousness, the entire upper section of the station was gone. Not destroyed, not damaged. Gone. Vaporized so completely that there weren't even fragments left to fall through space. Through emergency channels, I learned that similar strikes had taken out every major tribunal facility across the galaxy. Not just military targets, but administrative centers, supply depots, even historical monuments. Anything that represented council authority was systematically destroyed in a single coordinated assault. And yet civilian areas remained largely untouched. The humans were being selective, precise. They weren't waging war against our species, only against our government. The true horror is, I floated in the ruins of the archives, clutching a backup data core. I intercepted a transmission from Admiral Webb to all remaining tribunal forces. Your leadership is gone. Your infrastructure is under our control. This was not our preferred outcome, but you forced our hand. We take no pleasure in this demonstration, but make no mistake, we could do far worse. He paused, and in that pause, I felt the weight of what humans were truly capable of when provoked. A human child asked, "What did we do wrong before you murdered her?" Perhaps in your final moments you asked yourselves the same question. The difference is we can answer, you killed one of ours, someone innocent, someone under our protection, and now you understand what that means. The new order 3 days later, representatives from every surviving tribunal species signed an unconditional surrender to Earth. The Galactic Tribunal, which had stood for 3,000 years, ceased to exist in less than a week after the murder of 4 human teenagers. But here's what surprised everyone. The humans didn't want to rule us. The surrender terms established the Terran Protective Accord, a loose confederation where each world governed itself under the protection of Earth's military umbrella. "We don't want your planets," Admiral Knox explained to the surrender ceremony. "We don't want to control you. We just wanted you to stop killing our children." She paused, looking out at the assembled representatives of dozens of species, all of whom had once considered humans beneath their notice. But understand this clearly. What happened to the tribunal will happen to anyone who threatens those under our protection. We have no interest in conquest, but we have an absolute commitment to justice. The legacy, that was 40 years ago. Today, the galaxy is more peaceful than it has ever been. Trade flourishes. Conflicts are resolved through negotiation rather than force, and no one dares to harm the innocent. Not because Earth rules with an iron fist, but because everyone remembers what happened to those who tried. The humans rarely speak of those 72 hours. They've moved on, focused on exploration and discovery rather than dwelling on past conflicts. But we remember. We all remember. And that's why, my friend, you never ever harm a human child. Because humans don't just retaliate. When you threaten, they're innocent, they erase you from existence. The galaxy learned that lesson once, we won't need to learn it again.